Ecclesiastes chapter 1 verse 18 says, "For with much wisdom comes much sorrow. The more knowledge, the more grief." As I listened to these words in my daily devotional a couple of days ago, I couldn't help but think that these words have never been so true as they are today. Every day, we are bombarded with information about COVID. Conspiracy theories, infection numbers, government failings, doomsday predictions. It's depressing, it's overwhelming, and it's weighty. But it's almost like Solomon looked forward to today, isn't it? The more knowledge, the more grief. I don't know about you, but for me, the more knowledge I amass about COVID, the more anxious I feel, the more unsettled I become. Now, Ecclesiastes is a peculiar book, and it needs to be interpreted wisely, because it's written as a picture of life without God. It's not a prescription for the way that we're meant to live. The way that we must interpret it is to put God back into the equation. And in the context of this verse, I believe that the way that we do that is to filter our knowledge. For a moment, can we consider the words of Paul in 1 Corinthians chapter 2, where he said, "I resolved to know nothing while I was with you, except Jesus Christ and him crucified." Now, he was speaking in terms of spreading the gospel, but I think that this has truth for us today. See, as Christians, we're all carriers of the hope of Christ. If we fill our minds with data about COVID, then when people come to draw from us, they're going to receive the same sort of strife that they get from reading the Herald Sun. But imagine the benefit to us and others if we were full of Christ, if we knew less about the pandemic and more about Jesus. Imagine the hope, the peace, the joy that we could experience by turning our eyes upon Jesus. Because we need to know that he is the answer to every question and every concern that we have. You see, church, I don't need to be worried about the plans of the global elite because I live under the plans of the King of Kings. I don't need to be concerned with who might be monitoring me because I know the one who is always watching me. I don't need to be stressed about an uncertain future because I know who holds the future. I don't need to be anxious about what is unseen in this world because I have faith in the one who works best in the unseen. I don't have to fill my head with knowledge because I know the one who knows all things. I don't need to take my directions on this pandemic from Facebook and social media because I'm directed by the word of God. You see, we can fill our heads with all sorts of knowledge of news reports, hypotheses, but we have to ask the question, is this good for our soul? See, the best knowledge that we can consume ourselves with, especially at the present time, is the knowledge of God and his love, his peace, his hope, and his sovereignty. And that regardless of what post-COVID might look like, that he will still be sitting on the throne. You know, 2 Timothy 2 verse 8 says this, "Always think about Jesus Christ." I'm giving you permission today to stop thinking about the pandemic. Of course, we need to keep following directions, but don't fixate on it. Instead, let's turn our focus to Christ. He holds the world securely. He knows what the outcome will be. And regardless of it, he walks with us every day. God bless you, church.